Let me tell you something very clearly. If you find trading is difficult, trading is hard right now, it's not because you are weak, or it's not because you don't have knowledge, or it's not because you don't have discipline, it's not because you don't have strategy or setup. It's mainly because you are being taught trading the wrong way. Or you might have learned trading in the wrong way. Most of the people that I've seen are still learning trading like the way people used to trade in 2000s, beginning of 2000s, or in 2010s. But markets have changed, markets have evolved, regulations have changed, the instruments have changed, the behavior have changed, the participants have changed, the volume have changed. You talk about indicators, you talk about strategies, you talk about setup, all these are there, but the real game has evolved, right, along with the market evolution. Along with the participants evolution, the real game have changed. And if you don't understand that shift which have happened in the market and still trading the way that someone used to trade into early 2000s, then it is going to be very difficult to make money. But if you look at the present market, there are thousands of ways you can make money. You can be a scalper, you can be a momentum trader, you can be a trend trader, you can be a reversal trader, right? Trend reversal, and all these you can try, or you can be a pullback trader. In all these ways you can make money, but you keep struggling. No matter how much you learn, how much you try to implement, and all these, still you are struggling because you are not evolving like the way market have evolved. So let's understand where the real confusion is. When you enter trading, what happens is, that beginner's mindset, you look at hundreds of strategies, you look at thousands of indicators because you don't have any clue, right? You don't have any clarity. You look at different mentors and you look at different systems. So I will tell you, right, if you, even if you have one strategy, even if you simply follow 20 EMA, just one indicator, right, that's enough. Just 20 EMA or 200 EMA or even Camarilla pivot, just one indicator, just one mentor and one system, it will be really good for you. But when you do this, hundreds of strategies, so many mentors, so many YouTube channels and different system, you're studying like a rocket science. Trading is nothing like that. Trading is something which is very simple if you understand in that way, and the simple things work in the market. And what most traders do, they start jumping from one strategy to other, one mentor to other, one system to other, and this is what you call as strategy hopping. And almost every trader goes through this phase. You might have gone through that phase. I have gone through that phase because in search of knowledge, in search of, that desperation is there when you enter into trading. You see someone is doing good. Why I'm not able to do good? Because this person is doing good means I should be doing good. So it might be the problem with my strategy, or it might be the problem with that one indicator, or it might be the problem with my mentor. I have to change mentor. So this is what the initial understanding that we have, right? Because we human being have this psychological tendency that if the other person is doing good, why I am not able to do good? This is the same, not only in trading, in exams also. Why that person able to crack this exam in the first attempt and why I'm not able to do it? So maybe this is because of that material that he followed, or it is because of that coaching center that he studied. That the same way, instead of material, here it will be like a strategy or an indicator. Instead of the coaching center, here it is going to be a mentor, right? So the first mistake is, most beginners in fact believe, if I find the right strategy, I'll become profitable. But what is the truth? Strategy is of course important, but strategy is not enough. I told already, many people, the brightest people and the modest people also following the same strategy, but still, some are making money, some are still losing even with the same strategy. Because when it comes to trading, money is involved. Money means directly it is affecting the mindset, right? A lot of emotional aspect is involved, and that's the reason why psychological impact is there. That emotional control is required. Emotional intelligence is what actually required when, if you want to become successful in trading. So if I want to tell you, trading have two skills, right? The hard skill is something which can be learned. What are they? I can learn technical analysis, I can learn the setup, I can teach you the way I do technical analysis. You look at my pre-market analysis, there is a structure, right? You see that pre-market analysis, and if you watch 10 pre-market analysis that I do, next day you will be able to replicate that. I talk about these things, and based on that I'll analyze the market, and based on that I'll take my opening trade. So this is something which I can teach. This is a hard skill which can be learned. Technical analysis, I talk about 20M, I talk about Camarilla pivot, I can talk about CPR, and all these are the indicators that I use. I can teach you. This is the hard skill which you can learn also, the indicators. But the other side, no one actually talk about, no one try to improve also. That's the soft skill. right? For anything, these two sides are there. So what do you mean by soft skill? That is your mindset. That is your inner version of you. That is the emotional control. That is that self-awareness. I should know that who am I, right? My risk appetite, my risk tolerance, what kind of person I am, whether I'm an aggressive person or I am a calm person, my decision making skill. These are soft skills. And most traders, what they focus on strategy, they focus on indicator, they focus on mentor, they focus on system, they focus on setup, they focus on technical analysis, indicators, the hard skill, but ignore what soft skill, the mindset part, the emotional part. But what is ultimately required when it comes to market? It is not about strategy. There are hundreds and thousands of strategies. Any single strategy you take, it will work if your mindset, if you are emotionally controlled, if you are aware about what you are, and if you are very clear about your decisions, right? If the decision making is correct. So what I want to tell you is that you focus on one dimension, but the other dimension is completely missing, and you completely ignore the soft skills which are required to be successful in trading. That's why you fail, right? So, if I want to go more deep, see, trading is not just about markets. That's what I always tell. I can, you, I won't take this. If someone is coming and telling me that I'm very disciplined in market, but in my life I'm not disciplined. With my family I'm like this, with my diet I'm like this, with my body I'm like this, I don't work out in gym, all these, I'm not following any discipline, but in market I'm disciplined. Is that possible? It's about you. Who ultimately you are, it will be reflected in market. Market will actually test who you are. If you're disciplined in your real life, you will be disciplined there also. Or if you're disciplined there, you cannot be otherwise in your real life also. So you look at me, the way, even in my 13, I am 39, but the way I manage my physique, I think still better than those who are in 25 and 30, right? So that is what I mean by that discipline, and that will be seen and reflected in trading also, or that discipline will be reflected in your personal life, in your family life, and everywhere. So ultimately, when we talk about trading, it's not just about market, it's about you, because the market is actually acting like a mirror. It will show you your impatience. Market will expose you, whether you are impatient or not, whether you are greedy, whether you are afraid. Your fear, it will expose. Your greed, it will expose. Your impatience, it will expose. You are impatient and you jump onto a trade unnecessarily. So market is and then you start regretting. So there the market is exposing that your impatience, right? You got some profit, decent profit as per the system, but still you're holding because of greed. Market is exposing that you're greedy, and you got all the setups in your system, but you're still not taking the trade. Market is exposing that you're afraid of your fear. Yeah, right? And your reaction to the pressure. So market is testing you, prices are moving and you are feeling that pressure, and how you react during that pressure. You take a loss, suddenly you will find frustration, you will get angry, you will feel panic. All these will come out. What does that mean? It is the reflection of who you are, right? So market is like a mirror. It will tell you who you are. So unless you correct yourself, you cannot be successful in market, because it is not just about market. Market is all about what you are, right? So what is coming out is who you are, the frustration. If I'm a real trader, I took a stop loss. I don't want to be frustrated. I don't want to be angry. I don't want to be panicked, because I know this is a game which is based on probability. I can have series of losses also. I can have series of wins also, but there is something called as an edge which will work in my favor over a period of time. And month end, I'll be profitable. Or if I take 10 sample size, I'll be profitable. Or 100 size, I'll be profitable. You may even shout sometimes. I've seen people doing that. You may cry also. You hit the desk hard. You feel emotional. Why? Because you are not able to understand trading. All these are what you are actually. This is not what it should be, right? So then you realize, this side of me, I didn't even know that it existed. That's trading. That's why I told you market is like a mirror, not like the normal mirror that is somewhat more glossy, but here market will expose all your negatives, your fear, your greed, your impatience, everything. And you will understand that this is what I was, this is the other side of me. So if you need to know the other side of yourself, the way you shout, the way you get angry, the way you feel emotional, then trading will actually help you, right? Your personalities ultimately can block your success also. That's one of the most important point that I want to tell you. Even if you have me as a mentor, right? I'm making good. Doing really good in the market. I train good. Not only in this, I'm basically a trainer, right? I'm a teacher from 2010 onwards. So almost 15, 16 years I'm training for CAT and UPSC and other areas also. So you have the best of the mentor, you have the best of the system which is working for the mentor and for others also. You got the proper knowledge also from me or from other sources as well, but still you can fail. Why? Because it's not only about trading, it's not only about market, it's not only about indicators or setup, it's ultimately about you. It is a personality flow, right? For example, if you are impatient, that will be reflected. If you are short tempered, that will be reflected. Your inability to focus, you are doing scalping, but you're not able to focus. Then how can you do that? Your lack of discipline, everything will be reflected in your trading journal. So if you look at your trading journal, you can understand what kind of person you are. I can look at your trading journal of last 1 month and I can tell you what is your problem. Impatience or short tempered or angry or greed or whatever, fear, right? There are a lot of things that matters when it comes to trading. And if you see, if otherwise, if you see, these are not trading problems, these are actually personality problems, and trading will expose them brutally, right? So if you can fix these, then ultimately you can become successful, then the strategy will work. Let's make it more simple. In fact, if you see, most of the traders fail because they are in denial about who they are. I've seen people who are very much short tempered think that I'm very calm. People who don't have any discipline think that I'm very disciplined. People who are completely impatient and jump onto the trade just by looking at a breakout or breakdown candle without any kind of patience still believe that I'm patient, right? But the market prove you otherwise. You enter into an unnecessary trade because of impatience, and then you see unnecessary drawdowns or you take unnecessary stop loss. Then you realize that was because of impatience. If I would have waited for a pullback, then I would have got the better trade, the same side, same trade is where I also will enter. But you have already entered that and you stopped out, or you have seen a big drawdown, you got frustrated, you got angry, and you got stopped out. But I enter at the right level, and the same trade, same direction will make you give you money to the other person. But by that time, you got stopped out and you got exposed also by the market. So that is the truth. Trading force you to become self-aware. If you're not aware of who you are, then trading is not something which is for you. Trading will force you to become honest also, at least honest with yourself and your family. Because if you cannot be honest to yourself, you cannot do good in the market. If you cannot be honest with your family, ultimately you cannot do very good in the market, because whatever mistakes that you make, it is not only affecting you. Forget about rest of the others, but your immediate family, your wife, your kids, they are the ones most affected. Their future will be affected, right? If you can save that loss, at least if you invest in somewhere else, that will give them a bright future. So that is how you need to take it. And this is in fact very much uncomfortable when I tell this, right? And that is why most of the people quit. They are not aware of themselves. They cannot be honest in the market. And you need to be introspective, right? That means you should understand who you are and what you're doing. Actually, every day you should keep introspecting what you're doing, right? So every trader goes through these phases. There is no shortcuts. I have gone through this. Initially, what you will do, you will go for some trial and error. You see some videos, you read some books. When I started, there was not much of videos. So you read from the books. And the one which I relied mostly on, this Pivot Boss, Frank Ochoa, and that have given me a lot of knowledge also. And you try strategies, you fail, you switch from one strategy to another, you keep testing that. And that's how most of the people quit at this point. But you keep trying, right? And then you find the edge. But by the time you find the edge, you quit. That's the problem. So the important point that you need to understand is, you know, trading, it's not about the setup or anything, it's very personal. Just because a strategy work for someone, it doesn't mean that it will work for you. Even if you take my mentorship, even if you sit in the live session with me where I trade live and I demonstrate live, but still Some of the good quality trade, you may get afraid and you may not take it. Some of the trades where even after my exit, you hold it because of greed and then you will be in trouble. Right? So again, some of the trades I quickly scalp because of focus that I have. By the time you realize it, I might have exited also. So that is what I told you. It is completely personal. Even if you're learning from me, even if you're sitting live with me, even you are seeing all the trades, but there is a possibility that you may not be able to execute the same way as I do. Even if I exit some trade with profit, you may think that I can get more profits and you hold, then it is going to be a problem. Some trades, you're afraid you won't take it, that is the one which can give you good profit also. And then sometimes when it comes to a bad trade, you will enter and you will end up in loss as well. But I would be in profit because I've already got a very good trade. Next trade might be with less quantity, with less probability, but because we made a profit, I'm trying this. And because you missed the previous trade, you are entering this one where the probability is low, so you will eventually close that day with loss. I may be having this big profit and there is a small loss. So that is how it is, right? For example, someone may be a scalper, but I'm a scalper. So you cannot focus long. Means, can you be a scalper like me? No, my focus is that 6 hours or morning 2 hour only I spend in the market, afternoon 2 hour I spend in 9 to 11 I spend in the market, and then 1 to 3 is what I spend in the market. That 4 hours I will be extremely focused. In between, I sleep so that I get more energy and I can come back at 1 o'clock and I can do better. I sleep 11 to 1, I don't trade. Even if there is a big move, I'm okay to miss it because I need that extreme focus. But these 4 hours is enough for me. And then I trade the US market also. So if you don't have that focus, then you cannot be a scalper. That you need to understand. So you must find what fits for you. That's more important. And if you see, there is a very famous analogy that trading is like an eye test. You keep changing the lens, right? How you go for the eye test? You go sit in front of something I've written over there, and the doctor will keep changing the lens. Just like that, you keep changing this strategy, that strategy, another method, another mentor, until one becomes very clear. But one will become very clear in lens test. You will sit there. But when it comes to trading, also this can happen. One will become very clear to you, and that's where your edge also. But before that, you know, when you look at the lens, everything is blurry. Same with the trading also. Everything is blurry. So many indicators, right? You try this strategy, that strategy. So this is very normal. But by the time you find the edge, by the time you find what fits you in, you will be stopped out from the market because you might have either wiped out, you don't have control. So that is why most traders actually quit before they actually find the strategy, because they test a strategy. They don't, it may not work immediately. Even if strategy is correct, your psychology is not working for you. So you will stop it, you abandon it, and then you repeat the same thing with multiple strategies. So the problem is you are quitting here before you getting that edge or before you getting that clarity. And the professionals, they repeat the same thing, they find the edge, and that you allow that edge to work in your favor. For that, you have to stay in the market for a long time. So before getting that edge, if you are quitting, means, see, it's like digging a tunnel, right? So you did, and by the time you are about to reach, then you stopped, right? So maybe you just need to cross one more level to get that gold, or whatever diamond, or whatever you're searching for, the treasure. But you just stop it before that, just before hitting that gold, or your destination, you stop. That's what mostly happening with many of the traders also. You might have quit because you lost. Now you blame the market. You don't have any other option, because you are not blaming yourself. You are not willing to blame yourself. You can only blame the market and market players or your mentors, but you are never looking at you and blaming yourself. The mentor might have taught you the best things. Mentor will never tell you to take extra risk and all these, but what you did instead, never think about that. You blame the other person, you blame the market, you blame the fellow participants, and then you quit. There is no self-awareness. You are not blaming yourself. Actually, what market did is market exposed you. You at least need to understand, yes, I was impatient. That's the mistake. I was greedy. That was my mistake. I was afraid to take that trade even when everything was clear. That was my mistake. So it's my mistake. If I can correct it, then I'm very close. But you quit, right? Again, you will find something working at one point. When? If you stay in the market for some time. Even if you get 50-60% accuracy, right? You will find it. But now, once you reach to that level, now the question is, do I commit to that for a long time, or should I start again? Right? And I've seen most traders, they try to restart and lose all the progress. But why? Because you are losing that momentum. The You are about to uh, you know get there, but then you stop suddenly, and then when you restart it, then you lost the momentum. It feel like, so what we need is consistency. That's what ultimately I wanted to tell you. Consistency is required more than, I would say, come again and again every day, keep watching the market at least. So more than perfection, consistency is more important. You show up yourself in the market. Look at the chart. Look at Nifty every day. Look at Bank Nifty every day. Look at Sensex. Master one thing, right? Now, the real challenge is, at some point, you'll decide that, I'm going all in on trading. And this is very difficult because on one side you have job that gives you security, but when you come to trading, it is uncertainty, right? So again, traders stay stuck here, right? Because either I should go with full-time trading, or should I continue with job? If I'm continuing with job, I have some difficulty. If I quit job, then also I have that uncertainty, and that uncertainty will affect you in trading. So you will be half in job, half in trading. That also will be a big, because it's like half commitment is like not going to give you any success. You need to be committed, right? I do only trading. What else apart from that? The mentoring. So that actually, complementing what you're doing. If I am teaching others, I'll be more committed to myself to follow what I teach. So if I'm trading alone, that is there. I'm teaching many mentees along with the live sessions. That is making me to commit more to my strategy and setup. So that is in fact strengthening my trading only. Right? I keep repeating the same thing. I keep doing the same thing. I won't deviate because I'm teaching others also. So trading is one thing. And when I do this, that will add more, to that. And that is helping others also. So multiple ways it is benefiting me, because when I'm taking the session, it is helping me to stay in that, rules and stick to that. Secondly, I'm helping others also. So that is why I'm teaching. Anyway, I'm trading in front of the system. What is the problem in just switching on Zoom and allowing people to attend the session? I can help them. I can teach them. I can stick to my rules also. I'll be more disciplined because thousands are watching me. Right? The point, what I was talking about is half commitment is not a success. Right? So what about trading as a full-time gig? Even after going full-time, the struggle will continue, right? Because it is about uncertainty, it is about probability. There will be losing months, so the doubts can come, self-doubt will be there, pressure will be there, sometimes inconsistency will be there, right? So the reality is trading income is not stable. You cannot say monthly I get this, every month I get this. In that case, you need to go for job. Even in business also, there is no such consistency. So some months you'll get huge profit, some months you get nothing. So you should be in a position to understand that and then come to trading. So if you cannot handle such scenario, then trading is not for you. Then very important is the emotional cycle. You will see trading journey. It looks like it's just like the trading chart only. You see the chart, right? You'll see a new high, and then you see a crash. And then you see some recovery, and then again you see a crash. So that's how you see the chart, right? You see a high, you see a low, and then a further high, and then again a crash. So same thing will be the life of the trader, also can be plotted in that graph. But the key point is every low should be higher than previous, right? You may hit a low, right? You made a high, you may hit a low, then next high, but next time when you hit low, it should be a higher low. If you can ensure that, just like in market, if you find higher lows, higher lows, higher lows, what does that mean? You're progressing, you're going up, the trend is upside. So simple. Look at the trading chart, understand that's how your chart also should be. You hit a low, now you should make sure that you never hit that low again. No matter what, market will test you, market will crash you, market will expose you, but you will not go as bad as what you went first. That means you're progressing. right? Over time, trading will change you as a person. You will become more analytical. See why I'm able to talk like this. Can you talk like this? If you can talk like this, then automatically you are a good trader because you are analytical, you are rational, you are more calculated. Anything that I've told here, it is more of analytical, it is rational, there is nothing irrational. Every single word used is well calculated also. No rubbish, nothing, right? So again, you start thinking risk reward in everything, even in your life also, even in your friendship also, in relationship also. So the point is, traders who make the most money are the ones who stick to discipline. In fact, I would say the traders who make most money are the ones who don't need money because they are not chasing profits. They're not here for money. They are just following the process. They are following the system, right? The more you chase money, the more it runs away from you. The more you are so desperate, this is my month, this is the target of my month. You're never going to get that. It's going to be difficult. The more you chase money, that's a psychology. The more it runs away, the more fear will be there. So the ultimate status, if you want to become successful in trading, there should not be any pressure, no emotional attachment, completely detached emotionally with profit, loss, whatever. No overthinking. Just show up every day. Consistency is what matters. Execute every setup without fear. Repeat the process like a machine in the coke. You have to do it. So the key routine will be, you will have to come, trade, analyze the market, journal, very important. Sleep is very important. Otherwise, that will affect the psychology, right? Fitness is very important. So ultimately, what create result is consistency. So guys, trading, it looks easy. I can wake up at 9 o'clock, come at 9:15 and start punching the order. But is that really easy? It's not that easy. It's not that quick. There is no such shortcut. It's really hard. It is transformational and it is very much personal. And most importantly, trading is not about markets. It's about becoming the right person because market is a mirror that exposes you completely. Whether you're a good person, that will be reflected. If you're a bad person, not a bad person, your weakness will be reflected. So if trading feels hard for you, it is actually good because what does that mean? It is forcing you to grow. And I told you, your next fall should not be lower than the previous one. Make sure that. So next, you fell from the top to this, went higher. Next time, here only. Beyond this, you don't go. Went higher, next time here only. Went higher, next time here. That should be your progress. So the question is not about, is trading is difficult or not. It's all about, are you willing to become that person, you know, uh, who's emotionally good, right? Or are you willing to become the person that trading requires? That person who's self-aware, that person who's confident, that person who's not greedy, that person who's having discipline, that person who's patient, right? So that's about the session, guys. And if you would like to learn more about trading, you can get in touch with us. We have the live market mentoring sessions. We teach things in the live market. See you there.